Guys, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on?
Wait, is that an echo?
Why are you looking that way?
Well,
It's me. I'm on the big screen,
You're
Jack.
on the big one.
Hey,
You're on the
guys.
big one.
Oh, where'd you come from?
Camera, that one.
That was crazy.
Whoa, that's crazy.
You guys have been talking too much trash about me without
That's
me
true.
being able to respond.
What?
So I
That's
decided I have
crazy.
to come to this studio cast.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it,
That's
Scott.
rough. That's real rough. He takes one season off for the desk and instantly thrown in the trash.
If you're
Traitor.
I'm innocent. I'm innocent. I gotta say, I'm innocent. I'm not party to this.
Jake's been really nice.
Yeah,
I really like you on the desk, Jake. Thank you. You guys.
Thank you. Much love.
You're back to being
we're
co-workers.
we're the jilted lovers. You know, you left us. We found a great rebound there, Jay.
It's not us, it's you.
It is me. I'm sorry, guys. I left you, but I have my good friend Jaws now.
Let's go. Good friend. Yeah, let's go. We're working our way up the ladder. Woo. No, it's going to be a good time. Also, yeah, we're in the studio. It's pretty sick. You're actually real in person. I'm not stuck behind my computer screen. Thank you for that. Cheers for that. Yeah, there's going to be some good games today, that is for sure. Boston Uprising versus the London Spitfire. Well, you know, we did accidentally throw Huddy's rank game the other day, but London still look pretty damn good. We didn't get that contract, unfortunately, but with this matchup, I think a lot of people were expecting the Boston Uprising to win. Of course, the desk all credit Boston, but Scott, honestly, what are the chances for London coming in?
Yeah, London didn't have a great performance. Really, the only map they did win, it felt like the Washington Justice were making some mistakes. So you need to give some expectation to this London Spitfire team because last year they exceeded those expectations in a big way. So people wanted them to do the same thing again. But unfortunately, we just have not seen that so far. Now they're up against the Boston Uprising, which, as Jake said, pound for pound is just such a strong team.
Oh yeah, so many star-studded players, but like they need to prove a lot to people. I think everybody's expecting the team to maybe fall apart like halfway through the season, maybe a few player shuffles here and there. Like, these are a lot of big names. Birdring has come back to the Overwatch League, and while I had no doubts, I know a few people were like, is he still as good as he was before? Like when he was on, 2018 London, for example, right? And I think he's kind of already proven that, but he's proven that against players that you wouldn't expect him to lose to in the Pro-Am, for example. And now they're stepping up to London Spitfire, who have been, historically, like a lower table team, but last year they really proved themselves with the Reinhardt and with their own style of play. This is a really good taste of how Boston are going to play for the rest of the season, I feel like. Same with London here too. If they snag this win, Scott, that's pretty large.
And we're going to see London Spitfire come out here on the Junker Queen, and this is actually quite a good pick, and we've seen it consistently throughout the season so far, is against the Winston, you can play that Junker...
Okay. What a start! Good start, everybody.
Star-studded lineup. Boston Uprising, Izzyaki, previous champion, considered to be one of the greatest flex supports, has stepped off the map.
That's rough. That's real rough.
It happens.
You know there's ice on this map?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe he slipped.
Maybe he slipped.
Maybe he slipped.
Of course we have a replay, don't worry. Ah, yes, the classic. I'm going to jump back to create space for myself versus the enemy team, and there's the border of the map. Unlucky.
Intimidated by Hardy, Chatty, the one true one. So obviously, first team fight goes towards the London Spitfire, the easiest team fight they'll ever have to win. But with the dive from the Tracer Sombra, you can see Boston Uprising trying to get some space. The hack comes down onto Sparker, but it's been deflected pretty easy, Jack, and that's a great follow-up.
That was brave. That was real brave. Nice little boot there by Admiral, booping Smurf back in. He does end up getting Gracie. That knife's going to pull him back into the fight, but he had jump cooldown up, luckily enough. 33% for the London Spitfire as Sparker finds yet another kill. Ooh, Izzyaki and Boston, they are not looking quite as sharp as we expect coming out the gate, but this is also London kind of stepping up here. Ult's coming online.
And that was the thing, is Boston weren't really tested in their first series against the New York Excelsior, and this is a good meta for them. We expect the dive of Smurf to be able to be flawless, and with Striker coming in that Sombra, we haven't seen that so far. That last dive, the hack goes down on a Sparker, but the follow-up wasn't there from Smurf. And that's Hardy on that Junker Queen, just sort of being that imposing presence, not giving Smurf the availability to move around and decay. Another first pick by Landon.
Can we start these fights already? It's like instant pick after instant pick. Nice little sleep on Lethal. Do they have the damage to follow this up? No, not quite, unfortunately. All right, now Lee Jigong's the focus of Lethal. Lee Jigong does get out alive. He's nearing that rally too. A lot of ultimates online. So Lethal did throw his pulse bomb out. Did end up missing, but they've not really need to use anything else. We're on last fight territory already, and Boston Uprising have yet to really have a fight.
They have the nano boost, so that should sort of help Smurf with the dive, but I don't even think Smurf has even sniffed the backline yet. So the dive just has not been coming through, and that's why Striker doesn't even have the EMP as well.
All right, there's the Suzu. Tactical Visor comes out. The road has also been laying forward. That Tactical Visor just chewing through Smurf, but because he's nanoed and in the Primal, he just takes it like it's any other bullet coming out of Soldier's weapon. Like Boston Uprising, they do end up finding the flip there. A Kitsune Rush and a Visor used by Spitfire. Decay maybe setting up a pulse bomb. Yeah, he's been found out though. So Boston now just hitting a reset real fast, although Striker's EMP could be rather large. He's already in the back line there, Scott. You can see him just tussling.
He's detected though. And he's going to have to go back, and that should be the go button. You see London Spitfire stepping up for it, but Admiral can't get hit by this EMP.
Nice pull. Beat comes in for London Spitfire. It's only a 3-man landed, and Lethal didn't receive that over health, but Smurf ends up falling over. Laddie with a huge-ish ultimate. Oh, I think that hit nobody. Yeah, it was a zoner. It was yeah, it just zoned people off. Rally available for Lee J gone. He gets torn apart, though, by Huddy's axe, and London Spitfire now in OT. 99% on the board. It is Striker to touch. No EMP, no ultimates for the Uprising, as Decay gets 1v2'd on the sidelines as he tried to touch Smurf on the Wrecking Ball. He gets knifed. He doesn't even need to get pulled in because Lethal finished him off. This should just be the round for London. No hope for Boston to come back there, and maybe one team fight in that whole round. It felt like, Scott, there was just so many picks from London to start us off. Well, picks and Izayaki falling off the map.
Yeah, you know, it happens, you know, I get it. We've all made mistakes in our careers. I pressed Q accidentally one time, and it haunts me to this day.
That is crazy how long that has gone on. Like, people that are new to the Overwatch League, or like new to Overwatch Esports maybe, probably know what that is in reference to, which is insane.
It's hard. It's a hard life out here, but if you're the Boston Uprising, you have to forget about that round. Everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. So just forget about that, go on to the next round, as it looks like London Spitfire might be going towards their signature heroes and playstyle, with Hardy moving over to that Reinhardt, playing that role against the dive style once again of the Boston Uprising. And it's actually very difficult to play this Winston style because the Reinhardt can just anchor on the point, and you can see Izayaki's the person they're going to need to keep safe as he rotates around to the outside.
Leap out from Smurf, yeah, and Huddy's now setting up. With that wall too, like you said, so easy to anchor. It's up to the Boston Uprising, really, to dislodge the Spitfire. Sleep on Hardy, doesn't mean anything. All good. Wall taken down, Lee J gone, he's got the boot. No need to worry. But now it's up to Boston to, can they touch and contest? They do for half a second, if that, but Smurf does end up getting chased. 2-man anti from Izayaki there. Hardy and Lethal, unable to be healed for a brief moment, but they shake it off.
And Boston needs to go, otherwise they are going to get picked just like this. It feels like they're playing very slowly right now, almost just waiting for this nano boost to come up. But with London Spitfire getting the point so quickly, Lee J gone just getting away with his life. Wow. The timing is already ticking up, and just like last round, it doesn't feel like Boston Uprising are being proactive with their dive composition.
All right, I just saw a little ping there. Someone spotted out Striker halfway across the map. Izayaki and Lee J just kind of chilling right now. It's all about just getting that nano engaged, maybe an EMP going halfway through the fight, but London are nearing ults. There's the nano boost, straight onto the back. Land goes down, a leap up in the air for Landon, but that peel is super good from Admiral. Nice. Does end up getting hacked, so Smurf's able to jump back in almost for free, but no. Decay's there to clean up. Sparker does erase him from the point, or from the field, I should say. Hardy's going to get erased in just a second, I'd imagine. No way, no way he gets that pin. All good. Izayaki there with a save on the nade.
Lee J gone.
Okay.
Breathing a sigh of relief a little bit that Izayaki's got him, as he always has. And that nano boost, exactly what they need to do. Play aggressive. And now it's going to be on Striker to get the EMP. Last time this happened, Striker got caught out and he got detected. And that allowed the London Spitfire to engage anyway. So he needs to find the route into the London Spitfire as they're going around the inside area.
EMP available, and Striker's already setting up for it, you can see. He wants to make sure they can catch that Mei too, so she can't insta-block. Deleting the Mei will be good. A lot less control for the London Spitfire there.
No sound barrier.
He's lining it up. He's been detected. That is a one-man by the looks of it. That was, yeah, that was unfortunate. Honey lays down the shatter as Smurf goes to the grave, and the Boston Uprising, without their tank and without Izayaki, that's basically the point flipped for London. 50% now and building. Decay comes out with a kill, I suppose, but the Boston Uprising, where you at right now? Like, this is kind of rough. There was no synergy there, it felt like, with Striker and Smurf going for a dive off the EMP.
You do need to give credit to London, though, because they used every single ultimate as soon as Boston Uprising dropped that EMP. Everybody who could still use their ultimate did use their ultimate, and that isolated Smurf so much to the point that he couldn't even use the Primal Rage. Admiral does still have the sound barrier, but he can't save Hardy from that pulse bomb.
Wow, I wonder where the healers were looking there. Admiral and Landon not able to save Hardy. He was just pushed in the front line, stuck by Decay, and, well, that's a team kill. Boston Uprising, they're going to come back with a double support ultimate. You'd imagine Izyaki's going to get that 10%, plus that Primal Rage, fielding up to 50%, but Hardy's gone over to the Queen again.
And we saw this be very effective in the first round. The Reinhardt just seems to be getting kited around, and he's just looking in all directions, but unable to find any value, so maybe we'll be able to do so with the Junker Queen. In with the commanding shout and
Rush, shout. Lee Jigon is super low, still got the beat in hand, but doesn't want to Ajax it. Smurf's already found two kills despite that rush onto the point. Iziaki just threw out the nano, and it's a clean sweep there.
And this is the Boston Uprising we expected coming into this series. Oh, dude,
they do be staggering a Junker Queen, though. Oh, he got him with the sleep, too. And does 5 damage, by the way, so that's a rare one for you. 85% final fight.
Yeah, and Boston Uprising, they're trying to push their agenda right now. They know that the London Spitfire aren't fully healthy, trying to go aggressive. With 90% remaining, London Spitfire are going to have to go quick to touch this point.
Yeah, but look, they've only got the beat. The pulse bomb potentially from Lethal there could erase somebody, but he's going to have to stick it to Lee Jae Gon or Iziaki.
Oh, wow.
That's a good start, though. Landon taking the head off of Decay. EMP available for Striker. Just frontlining. Okay, didn't want to use the EMP just yet, but here comes the beats. That's a 3-man for the Boston Uprising and a 4-man for the London Spitfire. Lethal did get slept on the sidelines. I did see that, so wasn't able to get that pulse bomb off, but he might not need it. London might get a free flip. Smurf does touch in time with the Primal Rage, and in fact, London, in amongst that chaos, they do get the cap. There is a pulse bomb from Lethal and Smurf, and there's the EMP. Hits 2, Ambral and Lethal affected by the hack. Hardy even sends out his own Rampage, but the Boston Uprising were played so split, it was hard for Hardy to really get any value. Can anybody touch? It doesn't look like it. Round 3 we go on Antarctic Peninsula.
And a little bit of desperation at the end by London Spitfire, so they weren't able to keep up. But that's a much better look here for the Boston Uprising, as the Reinhardt, the pocket pick, just not really working out for them. Even though they did find some value, it just felt like they were being kited around, and I think Striker and Decay did a great job of just spreading the London Spitfire thin without being picked off this time.
All right. It's a bit of an interesting map. This one, the first time I played it, I was like, how do you play on the high ground, but then there's a lot of like open area on the point that you can overlook from these little balconies.
Yeah.
A lot of teams obviously focus the high ground anyway, regardless, but I was always thinking, you could probably play Ryan or Ram here, so this might actually suit London Spitfire's wheelhouse with this kind of rush style with the Queen running into the back line of the Boston Uprising, but they made a swap. They're having Lee Jigon on the Brig now, not the Lucio.
And this makes sense because you can play very defensively with your Ana, and you can just essentially repel anybody with your whip shot as soon as they try and get close. As you can see, Izyaki's going to be perched up here without any real opportunity for the London Spitfire to take them off. Some teams have been playing the Hanzo to just have that imposing threat of arrows across the map, but with the Soldier pick by Sparker, it's more consistent damage, but you're not going to have that lethality you see from the Hanzo.
Yeah, and you can see Iziaki knows that, right? He's on the highest of high grounds,
yeah.
like just firing away. It's pretty free for the Ana. Very unlikely that you're going to get a one tap by the Soldier. All right, the point's unlocked. London Spitfire free cap? No, okay, Smurf's back in time. Same with Decay. They're going to juggle this, wait for Smurf to get back up full HP. It's unfortunate that he's burnt his bubble already, but that's a really nice pick onto Lethal. Way less pressure on the front lines now for the London Spitfire. And yeah, they're going to forego the...
And you can see both teams not wanting to be the initiator because you're using so many resources. Boston Uprising trying to push the agenda, but the Nano does have to come out to keep Smurf alive, and it will lead to Hardy going down. Another stagger, which should lead to some more percentage going up.
Yep, nice little triple there by Smurf. Landon does take one with him in Legion, but all good. That Nano came online so early. You saw how low Smurf was in that last fight. Just free healing, free ult charge for the Ana.
And Striker's done a great job in this round getting up this EMP, so the London Spitfire are going to have to route around and be careful. As you can see him looking down like a hawk, just waiting for the engage. Hardy gets in the front line.
EMP, Avril, Hardy and Spark.
No follow-up.
No follow-up though at all. Decay was on the sideline. Same with Smurf. Felt like only Striker was doing damage there. There's the rush to reinitiate for Landon. Even that shout being utilized too, that'll be up in a moment's notice. Mind you, sitting in that rush. Pulse bomb onto Iziaki, and now the Smurf in problem with the Primal Rage. Landon does have that swift step to teleport away if he does get in danger, but now Lee Jigon is the main target in the front line. He is moving people away, triggering the Inspire to heal the rest of his team, but without Iziaki, he's left high and dry, or low and dry, I suppose. He was on low ground. Boston Uprising to end up losing that point, and losing a key ultimate in that EMP too. There was very surprising there was no follow-up there in kills.
Yeah, a little bit of disconnect there, maybe a little bit too early from Striker, but I got to give it to Lethal. He's a new player coming into this league, and I think he struggled so far in the Pro-Am and in his first match, but as Jake has said on the desk, he is a very talented player, and that pulse bomb opened that team fight up beautifully, then he was able to follow up with more. The London Spitfire need Lethal to be playing this well on the Tracer.
Shambali's going to have to be rather impactful from Lee Jae-gon to counteract that anti-healing from Hardy. Swings the axe through the bubble. Smurf does already find a kill. Might trade for it with his life, though. There's the rampage. Lee Jae-gon, the only one effective with the anti-nade. In fact, look at that. They just pushed him into a corner. The IMAX is not going to help here, son. Unfortunate for Lee Jae-gon. He was isolated from the rest of his team, and his Yaki looked like he couldn't follow up with any more healing. That Brig is pretty immortal. Once you pops the rally, you get that overhealth, you get the extra armor, but the focus fire is just too good for London Spitfire there.
And Lee Jae-gon's actually going to switch over to the Lucio, and I like this switch. It feels like the London Spitfire have too much tempo control where they can choose when to go in and when to go out, and that might be some of the issues the Boston Uprising are having.
What?
Striker gets a little greedy, trying to get a bit more percentage, and actually goes down.
Dude,
another great stick by Lethal.
Lethal again. Izzy Yaki has no chance against this guy's pulse bombs. Boston Uprising, yeah, that's another reset. Looking final fight territory now. We'll see if the CMP can be more impactful. Strike is nearing his. Lethal is also kind of, he's squaring up right now.
Taking it to Decay.
Like you mentioned, rookie this year, feeling pretty clean with it. These pulse bombs, if you just keep doing that, taking down the armor, there's no healing for Boston Uprising, really.
We need to see if Striker's EMP is going to get more value than the last one. Admiral does get hit by it's a solo EMP.
It's a solo EMP and he still has that beat. Land's going to heal him up as the nano comes on to Smurf. He has managed to push Hardy onto the point, but that shout and the sound barrier from Admiral is going to keep him alive on the point, and Smurf overextending just a little bit. It is overtime for the London Spitfire. They're looking to take their first map. Lee Jae-gon got chased down. It's up to Decay and Striker to maybe find a touch, but they don't just do it. London Spitfire take the first map in the series.
Striker's EMP is just not finding the value. I like the idea, and we've seen people do this where you solo EMP the Lucio, but once again, a consistent theme throughout this first map. The follow-up and the synergy just wasn't there. Smurf was too far away. They couldn't get that kill that allows the London Spitfire to re-engage with the sound barrier and take map one.
Yeah, feeling pretty good. If you're a London Spitfire fan, feeling pretty bad. If you're the desk who all petted the Boston Uprising. Ooh, rough. That's a real offer. And even Danny. Danny,
the London Spitfire believer, did not believe in them. And honestly, throughout this series, it feels like the London Spitfire are very confident playing this Junker Queen style, and it's working very well against the Winston.
Yeah,
that could be something that the Boston Uprising will have to change if they are going to keep up with the London Spitfire in this series.
I mean, it's pretty rough for Smurf when you think about it against the Junker Queen. If you get a knife in you, the Gracie,
pull you back.
You can pull you back straight away, even if you have that leap up. So you have to time that well. Hollywood is going to be our next map, though, on the cards. We'll see what London Spitfire, if they want to continue running this Junker Queen, or maybe a little bit of Ryan. Come on, Hardy. I know you want to do it, son.
Not on Hollywood. Don't be ridiculous,
Jack.
I
mean, come on now. Come on. Maybe a little bit Junker Queen.
If anyone's going to do it, it's Hardy.
Yeah, exactly. It's the chatty. Right, we're going to jump to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Boston, London. They're going to continue. London Spitfire already up a map over the Boston Uprising. Was it a close affair on Antarctic Peninsula, Scott?
Yeah, it was. You know, Boston took that round. Other than the first round, it was quite competitive, and you could see the upsides from both teams. We just had some subs coming through. We have Sky Ripper coming in for the London Spitfire, and on the other side, Birdering has decided to come in. I would expect to see some hit scan on Hollywood coming out from him.
Yes, sir. Some hit scan. Maybe Widow, maybe some Ash. Seen a little bit more Ash than I'd expected recently. But Cassidy did get nerfed.
25 health. It's a lot.
Makes a lot of sense. Plus Magnade as well. Also got changed. Have to wait and see what they want to play. But London Spitfire with that Junker Queen comp, kind of taking advantage of Smurf and the rest of the team just maybe not being perfectly on the same page. There were a couple of times where Strike would EMP. It was a decent EMP, but there was no follow-up. Yeah. But then, of course, a lot of the time we were on Striker's POV, so maybe they were, you know, scuffling with Hardy or something and getting pulled back in. Talking about how the knife from Junker Queen was pretty instrumental in kind of keeping Smurf in check. You really have to watch that leap cooldown when you do get knifed by the JQ.
And if you're looking at this Boston Uprising squad, Smurf is always a threat, especially when Winston is in the meta. So it'll be interesting to see what the Spitfire are going to do on this map, because Junker Queen, there's a lot of high grounds, there's a lot of space to control. That's hard to do as the Junker Queen, while Hardy, his Winston has much improved, but are they going to be able to take this mirror matchup against the Boston Uprising?
He do be on the phone, though. Monkey on the phone, top and bottom text.
Who he calling?
Who do we be calling? I don't know.
Who Winston be calling? Let us know on Twitter.
Call him for the strat. Hey, why did we lose map 1? Hey, come on, bro.
Yo, we're gonna talk about Izzyaki, man.
Yeah, we gotta talk. He's phoning Izzyaaki's agent, like, bro, like this guy. He do be trolling my games. All right, let's have a look what London Spitfire want to run. It's going to be Hardy on the Winston, Sparker, Lethal on Tracer and Hanzo. And so, yeah, Birdering is going to be playing Ash. A lot of defensive capabilities from Boston Uprising. I mean, you're just kind of chilling with the boys, right, up on the high ground. Legion and Izzyaki just kind of hanging out, and then you can use that coach gun to instantly disengage from people like Hardy.
Yeah, and that's going to be the name of the game. Just try and keep Birdering alive. Well, that's not a great coach gun, so it's going to force the team into a bad position, but Hardy is just getting bullied.
God. That's rough. That's real rough. Dude got bashed, he got whip-shotted, he got coach gunned, he got slapped, he got he got killed pretty quick. Rough life of a Winston out here, I'm telling you.
You know, main tank's feeling like they're doing all right these days, but it can always get hard sometimes. As you know, Sky Ripper is 50% up to that nano. That's the primary thing they're trying to charge up, but they're also just trying to give Sparker some room, try and get him some angles so he can try and find some picks. Birdering actually deciding to go on top of the elevator, which can be a bit of a death sentence if they can close the distance.
Yeah, didn't really want to aim check Sparker there. So he did get down to the ground. And now the engagement of Spitfire potentially. I mean, Landon did get anti. Nice sleep onto Winston. Perfect backline play there from Sky Ripper and Landon.
Izzyaaki's 1 health.
Oh!
Lethal once again, finding an early pick onto Izzyaki. That's go time now for Spitfire.
God, he really does not like Izzyaki living for more than 5 seconds, that guy. Now the boost onto Hardy, looking where he needs to go. Oh, he did get stuck. Did you see that?
Nice
he got stuck,
well.
jumped up in the sky, so Sky Ripper didn't end up going down. Smurf dead, and now they kind of flip sides. Birdering and Legion trying to hold down the fort, but Legion was like, nah. See you later. Did actually get killed on the exit, but Spitfire, pretty decent time. 2 minutes and a bit. And there we go, 4 minutes and 35 seconds to push that cart through second.
In a server right now with some of the greatest players to ever play Overwatch, I think Lethal is having the best performance right now on this Tracer. Somehow continuously finding picks into the backline. I don't know if there's a disconnect between Lee Jae-gun and Izzyaki, but right now he's running circles around.
Free high ground control. Nice anti again from Izzyaki. Hit 3 on height, but Boston Uprising weren't really in a position. Now they're going to regain control. Another nice anti, Sky Ripper and Hattie, purple. And Sky Ripper's dead. Wow, it was actually Izzyaki this time around. Smurf trying to, well, he's trying to find somebody. There we go. Okay, found the Winston. Hattie now chilling there, get the mega health pack. And Lee Jae-gun going down doesn't really matter too much. I mean, Hardy got the Mega there away from the Tracer, but it will be a reset. And Boston Uprising, they kind of lost control of the high ground pretty quick, but with Spitfire coming in with ults like Dragons, so easy to clear those places.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, the nano boost out from Izzyaki just enables Smurf to play aggressively. But this is going to be a hard thing for them to deal with Izzyaki just playing aim trainer in the backline here, consistently keeping up the team. With the Hanzo, it's just too unpredictable to try and get that value, so they're going to need to try and push the cart slowly, but the Boston Uprising will be able to choose whenever they want to go.
Birdring with the early warning signal there. He knows Lethal's got pulse, maybe with his name on it. Oh, no. Doesn't even go for Izzyaki there. He actually went for Legion. Of course, I would imagine you'd know they have a rally, so sticking the Brigitte there would have been nice. Hardy clearing the people off the high ground the old-fashioned way with the Primal Rage. And there's a rally in the backline for Landon. Was antied for a moment, but look at this juggle. Smurf has to pop his own Primal Rage to get out of there. Izzyaki and Legion are going to be able to heal him up, but he is so low, has to back all the way out.
But that was great play by Smurf. He neutralizes the aggression from the Spitfire, forces out the rally, and then just gets out without anything. That's time off of the clock right there for only one ultimate. That's enabled Izzyaki to get back up to this nano boost. Now it's the Spitfire. The onus is on them with the nano boost. How is Hardy going to try and get on top of them? Oh my, Birdring living with 1 health.
Wow. Don't know how he lived, but he did. He had 22 HP.
Oh,
Sleep into Hardy. Only 3.5 seconds, though, on that sleep now after the last patch. But more than enough time, really, to wait for that nano to wear out. Decay's Pulse Bomb thrown out somewhere, but it ended up missing. No kills on the kill feed just yet. Dragon Strike to clear out the high ground, but another great dive from the Boston Uprising. This is very in contrast to what we saw on the first map. They seem to be on the same page. Oh, nice little bash there to stop Hardy getting away.
And this is what we expected from this series in the Winston mirror. As much as Spitfire have improved in playing these compositions, it's the Boston Uprising. You got Smurf on Winston, you got Decay on Tracer, you got one of the best backlines in history as well, and Lee Gon and Izzyaki feeling a lot more in sync on this second point. Spitfire not really coming up with any answers. They're going to have to look once again to Lethal with a Pulse Bomb to open it up. Yeah,
Lethal's Pulse. I mean, you've got to get Izzyaki again. He's going to, you know he has nano. You just know it. Birdring walking around with an arrow in him. All good. And Izzyaki, in fact, moving forwards. If Smurf gets nanoed here, he can just drop on people. Maybe get Hardy off the high ground first, though. Be quite nice. Ninth whip shot. Okay, so maybe go in now. Yeah, whip shot used. Instant engage there from Smurf. Bubble goes down. No sleep. No nade. And that will be a Boston Uprising just pushing them to their limits right now. Dynamite thrown in on top of that, and then Decay on the side. Beautiful engage just off of that one cooldown used from the brick.
Yeah, and that's how minute every decision really matters, especially for the best Winstons in the world. He recognizes that push isn't there. That's go time. Instantly calls for that nano. And once again, just the sheer presence of mind by Smurf realizes he doesn't need to pop that Primal Rage, so they have another tool to engage.
Double support ultimate for the London Spitfire as Hardy tries for the 16th time to take control of this high ground. He does get anti, pops the Primal. Izzyaki in his sights as he's trying to boop him around, but he's got Legion gone right next to him, and look, Scott, in the kill feed. Yeah, Birdring's doing Birdring things with the help of Bob. Backline dead, Lethal down, 20 seconds to go. Spitfire with 2 ults against a rally and a pulse. This is looking rather rough, and will they be even get there in time? Like, look at this. Look at Smurf.
Smurf standing at the door like a bouncer, like, hey, you guys can't come through here.
They can't touch, surely. Lethal has no chance. He gets nanoed. Blink, blink, blink. Not quite enough. The Dragons, unfortunately, can't contest payload. Fun fact. Boston Uprising, they managed to defend on that second point very, very well. Again, super on the same page now, unlike the first map.
Yeah, and we're just not seeing enough value come out from the London Spitfire with their ultimates. We saw, and we've complimented Smurf so much on this map of how much value he gets with every single one of these.
Yep.
Hardy just didn't get the same. We saw him juggling Izzyaki, but he can't get that follow-through. He can't get the kill. And guess what? You got to pick your poison. Birdring's on the high ground, takes down 3. And that is the power of the Boston Uprising, is there's threats all over the place.
The power of the bird. There he goes.
It's good to see him back.
It is good to see, honestly, yes. Birdring was the first jersey I bought, actually, in 2018. Yeah, it wasn't
Not
you,
mine?
unfortunately.
Oh,
Yeah,
man,
it wasn't you, mate. I'm sorry,
rude.
buddy. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was a Platinum Tracer player back then, so you know the vibes. Platinum DPS
Still
player.
are?
Bro, my Tracer is horrific. Horrific levels of bad. I'm a Torb Widow 2 trick, actually, I'll have you know.
Can confirm.
Can confirm. I mean, okay, so this is where Birdring can... Oh my, so Hardy booped him down to this position. Dynamite, Bob, and a whole lot of kills for Birdring. That is pretty nasty. Not really Hardy's fault there at all either. He's just trying to displace people on the high ground.
Yeah, he did his job.
Yeah, just so happens he put Birdring in a position where he can carry. So, pretty rough.
The nitty-gritty details don't matter too much. He
Yeah.
did. I got my one.
Yeah, I got my 1. That's it. But Birdring got his 3. So.
Yeah, that's the problem. We're actually going to see Birdring move over to the Hanzo on attack because the Ashe is just not able to stay alive. What happens is when the dive comes through, when you step up, that coach stun isn't enough to keep you alive. So the Hanzo also has that opportunity to just log you from across the map, which is very difficult to deal with. So the London Spitfire are going to have to start finding solutions to this backline problem from the Boston Uprising because they haven't been able to take them down so far.
All right, let's see what they got. It was close. Wow. Huddy just jumped security and just annihilated Izayaki. You can see where Lee Jae Gon was. He was actually with the rest of his team.
He's in the front line.
Yeah, he's in the front line, just swinging at people. That's a decent trade, though. You end up maybe falling here. Decay's still killing people. That's 4 kills for Decay. Maybe a 5th soon, or could be a 4th even. I think that was 3. I think Smurf did get 1 of them at least. Free tick for Boston. Can they recontest? I mean, they do have lethal. Yeah, but Smurf is here too. Are they going to go for a better setup on second? No, they're actually going to go in. Lethal has Pulse Bomb though. Scott and Izayaki is in security, now just hanging with Lee Jae Gon.
He's getting packed, so he's staying alive just for now, but it's just not enough. They need to start finding some picks. You can see Sparker in this off angle, but he's being pushed away, but Birdering pick is going to open it up.
Okay, no more ults used by Boston Uprising. Izayaki and Birdering already dead. Scarappa does get traded, not going to matter though, or shouldn't at least. That was a nice nade from Scarappa, just killing Birdering to start that fight off. I mean, there's no escape here, Lee Jae Gon. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way, right? There's no... Oh, he escaped somehow. Izayaki spawned just in time to save him. That would have been a nice stagger if they got it, but unfortunately.
That's the poetic nature of Izayaki and Lee Jae Gon. Izayaki saves Lee Jae Gon every time, and whenever Izyaki's in trouble, Lee Jae Gon's in the front line.
Running away from him.
He's like, sorry, man, I'm getting my one. You know, it's all about that for the Boston Uprising. But now ultimates are coming up. Landon has the rally, same for Lee Jae Gon. How are we going to see Boston Uprising try and sort of navigate around this? You can see Spark is doing a great job of not allowing them to just step up, but Lee Jae Gon in the front line with the rally.
Yeah, double rally. Spark is getting a lot of that overhealth. Smurf doing negative damage with that Primal Rage. More displacement tool than anything else, and Birdering's down again. In fact, both teams end up losing their Hanzos as now Smurf has leapt in with a nano boost. Good sleep, but it's up to Smurf to really win this fight for them. Both supports are just running for the hills, or at least trying to. You see both supports are sticking together here, but Decay's there to just tear them apart. And that will be the first point, I would imagine, unless Hardy has some crazy amount of damage to work with. No, Dragon's on point, isn't going to do too much, and that will be the checkpoint unlocked.
It's an expensive fight for the Spitfire. They really committed everything to try and hold on that point. We're actually going to see a switch over to Sombra from Birdering. This is a look we saw in the first match from them as well. And you know, Birdering's a very talented player who can play anything, but a sleep onto lethal should give them a lot of card progress. And Boston Uprising, you're going to see them. They're going to take the bridge then. They're going off to the top of the roof. They'll hold that high ground. So now the Spitfire have an uphill battle to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, you have Mega Health Pack control by Smurf. You have the Mega Health Pack if you really need it for the supports. Like, so much of that space that Lethal could also use to pick up health packs, not rely on his team, has been just taken away instantly. It's all about the rest of the gang now from London to try and get to the high ground, because it's going to be a rough time fighting upwards, that's for sure. I think Sun Tzu wrote that somewhere. It's a tough time.
I think so.
Fighting from to high ground. Decay with 2. Wow. Okay.
Just like that.
All right. Well, there you go.
And you got to look where the golden box of victory is as well. It's not that far away. Lethal needs to try and stay alive, but Decay is just hunting him down.
Nice
gets hacked on the way out.
He's good. No, he's not.
He's not.
He's not. Decay's there.
Decay caught him, and this is going to be desperation mode for the Spitfire. They have no ultimates. They have no Tracer to touch. Hardy is going to be the one out.
Primal Rage for Smurf too. He can keep him locked up in that cinema. Or in the production house, I should say. No, Izyaki's dead. EMP. Primal Rage. Surely it's all over now. Look at Landon just struggling to hit anybody. Decay and Birdering just dancing circles around him. Decay almost getting the one clip too on Lethal, and that'll be it. Boston Uprising. The complete turnaround on map number 2. That was a roll.
A decisive win in the Winston Mirror, and that has to be an eye-opener if you're the London Spitfire coaching staff of, we can't take this on. There is no minor adjustments or small changes that you can make that is going to make you able to beat this Uprising. The map pool is going to be important in this series because we saw, on the other hand, it doesn't feel like the Boston Uprising had an answer to the London Spitfire's Junker Queen style. Smurf just wasn't able to get anywhere near the same amount of value.
Yeah, we'll see if London can turn this one around. But yeah, very 2 distinct styles. You don't want to face Smurf in the Winston Mirror. I mean, even this first point, to be fair too, there are a lot of times where you are relying on just Skyrip and Lantern staying alive to get the sleeps onto Smurf, get the nade on themselves or onto someone else. But you also have a long-range hit scan specialist in Birdring. I mean, look at that. That's beautiful stuff, really.
No other team, I think, in the world has ever been like, let's just bench Striker and put Birdring into the lineup, right? They have a wealth of options. The biggest issue that I think the Boston Uprising has is that they need to make substitutions to have this level of flexibility. It's going to be hard, I think, because we know how prominent Winston is in this meta, and Decay is coming alive on this Tracer. He's been so strong at it, but Shambali Monastery as the next map, it's been a weird one. It is a very unsolved map so far. We've even seen a Mercy Bastion just recently in the Seoul Derby, so anything could come out.
That was pretty wicked, I will
No,
say.
it wasn't. It was awful.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was fun. No, you know what it was? It was fun.
I don't care about fun in my competitive Overwatch, Jack.
It's all about fun at the end of the day. Entertainment product, by the way. Shambali Monastery, which makes it fun because it's kind of unsolved and there's no like best comp or like preferred comp to kind of run. We'll have to wait and see. Can London still play the JQ, tackle Smurf? After this break, we'll find out. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Boston Uprising and the London Spitfire 1 apiece so far. Shambali Monastery up next. Substitutions coming in for Boston Uprising. Kalios is in. Smurf is out. Lijigon out. Twilight in. The king on the Ana.
He's such a good Ana player. We've seen him just turn series and turn maps for not just the Boston Uprising recently, but for the San Francisco Shock in the past. One of the greatest flex supports coming off of the bench. I can't reiterate how crazy their bench is. And it's just a great performance from Boston Uprising on Hollywood so far, but this is a very different map, Jack.
He was on the bench for the Shock too. Remember, Shock had the Omega roster. They had the crazy. They had Tayo. They had Nero. They had everybody. And
Super play Genji. That's how crazy it was.
Violet play Cassidy. Yeah, right. And Twilight was on that team, sat on the bench, and every now and then would come in for Voskaya Industries of all maps. Yes, that is a map, by the way. It's,
it's gone. Thankfully, I say so. No changes from the London Spitfire makes me think that they have to have something in plan for this, because historically, they were always the best when they had the power of friendship and they had those 5 players in, when they had Backbone in, when they had Admiral being able to play that Lucio. But with the additions of Skyripper and Lethal, both great players in their own right, it doesn't feel like when they are all in though, it hasn't come together in the same way that we saw from them last year.
Yeah, that powerful ability. The power of friendship. Very strong. Very strong. That's why.
Well, no, you have to say it.
That's why we went 1-9 the other day. We played together. All right, enough of that. Twilight, of course, on the Ana, who's really surprised there, but we're actually going to see Kalios on the D.Va instead. So no Smurf in, so no Winston. Kalios much more of a off-tank player, so playing things like D.Va makes sense here. And Spitfire, okay, so they're not going to run Queen. They're just going to run Hardy on the Winston, try and get that high ground away from Kalios, but...
Oh, wow.
Birdring, okay.
A couple of dinks.
Yeah, a couple of little headshots there with Storm Arrow. That's pretty good.
And the London Spitfire deciding to stick with the same thing, confident in their gameplay. It will be slightly different with Kalios on this D.Va. What that'll mean is they won't have the same level of aggression that Smurf was putting out, but it's a lot more defensive, and it's very difficult for Hardy to go anywhere without just taking constant damage, because as soon as he jumps, you can see Kalios is just looking at him, waiting to go with those micro missiles and follow behind him.
Yeah, the thrusters from D.Va on a short cooldown than the leap, worth keeping in mind. Speaking of dive, though, look, Kalios is kind of holding down the fort on his own right now. Look at his Spark. Spark is trying to step up. Yeah. He's trying to get an angle on the backline of the Uprising right now, but Kalios refusing to move, no matter how high or low his HP is. The perfect bodyguard for the rest of the team right now. The Boston Uprising's backline is going to be pretty tough to deal with anyway. I love that little doorway, that little nook and cranny there. It's so hard to get an angle. You saw Sparker trying to force his way there, and you can play around it, and with the brig too. Man, it's tough to dive the backline.
It's actually a really interesting choke point that you saw the Boston Uprising. That's where they wanted to take that fight. Sparker hitting a log from across the map onto Twilight. That should mean that Boston's going to back up. Like, Decay? I thought he was going to throw that one.
Yeah, so did I. I thought he had it in him, but deciding against it, maybe just waiting for 5, come back again, then push on. But they will end up pushing, because of that pick, they will be able to push the payload around this first corner, or second corner here, so not the worst thing in the world. Getting a little space is always important.
And they have to be careful. Decay is just lurking in their backline, looking for this pulse bomb. Doesn't even need it. Wow. Takes down Skyripper for what feels like almost free, and you can see the London Spitfire realizing, well, there's no going backwards. The only way we can go is forwards. Lethal pulse bomb eaten by Kalios, and 1 minute 40 seconds remaining, Jack. This is not looking good so far for the London Spitfire.
Yeah, it's really not. Dragon Strike used, and that was it for Boston. So they've still got
cosmetic
Rally,
ult, right?
They got Nano. Yeah, I mean, it is a cosmetic ult. Come on. Come on now.
Especially no dive meta.
I mean, we've seen a few kills. It is quite funny. Decay, pulse bomb in hand? No. Wow, being very conservative with his pulse.
I would have thrown it about 20 times by now.
Yeah. I mean, that's the problem, right? You don't want to hold him for too long, because you could have built up another one, had more impact, you know, so...
But you can also, on the other hand, as you said, you could build another one. This fear of the pulse bomb has the London Spitfire worried. This is why it feels like it's so slow going. Moving up, Kalios is hyper-aggressive. He's actually going to take the nano boost.
Yep. Anti in the backline, Skyripper and landed. There is the pulse bomb. Yeah, no eating of the dragons there, but it's not like he needed it. All good, because Kalios is right there. He gets 2 kills off the back of that nano. I mean, Boston Uprising kind of playing this expertly. Like, perfectly on this first point. I mean, this is where they wanted to hold. They weren't afraid to let go of that early high ground because they know their comp is so good and so defensible up that long hill. Hard for Hardy to get value. Lethal's having a rough time getting a pulse bomb past Kalios.
Yeah.
Feels good.
And they're actually going to go hyper-aggressive with the rally of their own going into the small room.
Ultimate available from Kalios too, that self-destruct online. Iziaki does end up going down. Nice little sleep on Kalios, wasn't able to eat the sleep there, unfortunately. And Landon does get nanoed, so Landon was just swinging in that small room. An overcommit there from Boston Uprising. Their defense looks so clean, and now it's over on that first point. It's only Birdering to touch. And there you go. Decay gets there just a moment too late.
Yeah, you can...
Kalios just throwing self-destructing.
I wonder if he's going to switch. That would make sense if he's going to switch. Actually, I think it was Vicky who made an interesting point recently of like people have been using their ults to switch, but with retaining 30% ultimate, you have to think, oh, well, never mind, he didn't switch. That was just a bad D.Va ult. We'll just go for that one. But interesting choice, but they tried to catch a Spitfire with their pants down. Didn't work, but I like the idea. You know, their proactive play is what's got them into this position to begin with, but this is one of the hardest points to push if you're the offensive team because the defensive setup is just so protected.
It is crazy how defensive David this point feels. Pulse bomb. Yeah, you see that armor pipe being flung out?
Doesn't help.
Doesn't help. Yeah, doesn't help. It's unfortunate. And that Dragon Strike, to be fair, as much as it is sometimes a cosmetic ultimate, especially in that tight corridor, pretty devastating. Splits you up and can definitely pick up kills. Decay still just tussling with Lethal.
He's an absolute menace. And it's awesome to see Decay. You know, we meme the Washington Justice for the last couple of years, but Decay has always been a phenomenal player. And that's why we're so excited to see him be here on this Boston Uprising squad, surrounded by players who have won championships. And that's the hope for this franchise.
Wow, Decay. Jeez, forcing the recall. Oh, yeah, Kalios is hot on his trail, too. There's a Tracer and bigger Tracer. Making sure Lethal is feeling the burn. That rally to try and sustain through this fight. There's the nano. Sky Ripper and Landon purpled again. Twilight is just an absolute beast on this Ana pick. Just making the backline work for it. Landon even popped that rally. I mean, you get the overhealth there, Scott, but if you're antied with no heals from the Inspire, you're going to get 1 to 2 shield bashes out at a time when you use the ultimate to get that stun, but that's about it.
Well, that's the big trade-off, that you now get that 100 armor that pops onto you instantly, but the unfortunate thing is you don't get the overhealth for yourself, which is what made you so self-sustaining. You're healing yourself, plus you're getting overhealth. That's why Brig felt like a raid boss from time to time. Shout out to Jake when he got the nano raid boss back on Volskaya Industries of all things. But we're running out of time, 12 seconds. Decay throws the pulse bomb by the wayside, and they only have Primal Rage and Dragon.
10 seconds to go. Kalios with that self-destruct. Let's not try and throw this one away, but it might be too easy to use, honestly, in this corridor. Iziaki from the skies just bonks Sky Ripper on the head. I mean, even Spark is dead. There's a rally to chew through as well. If you're the London Spitfire, you have to contest the point. Lethal's already hit the recall on the point too, mind you. Kalios' self-destruct finds Landon, and you'd imagine that's about it. Hardy with the saving Primal Rage, or not quite saving them, unfortunately, this time. And that will be the payload stopped just before that second point on that corner. We'll get, I guess, confirmation in a second where that golden box of victory is. I don't think it was up by the archway. It could be fairly important, but the way Boston Uprising are playing right now, it's tough for London to really do anything. Subbing Kalios in on the D.Va to protect their backline. They have Twilight and Ana God, and then you also have Decay, like you mentioned, being a menace and just forcing Lethal's recall so he can't do anything. And then you have to get through Kalios, and then you have to get through the Brig. Like, man.
You can see the Uprising making an adjustment of Lethal was causing problems earlier in the series, and I feel like Decay has started matching Lethal, and they've started chasing him down, not allowing him to just exist in your backline. So that's why he's not finding as many values with the Pulse Bomb, but Spitfire just doesn't feel like they're ever in control. They're never in the driving seat. It feels like they're always on the defensive side, and with how strong this Boston Uprising squad is and how aggressive their backline likes to play, it can be difficult to deal with.
Let's have a look at this little 2K from Iziaki. Oh yeah, look at this
from the top rope.
Just gets him. God, the concussion after that whip shot. Yeah, and then good luck getting past Iziaki. Twilight's right next to him. He's given Twilight over health, and yeah, good luck. Oh, he's just swinging.
Oh, a Tracer.
Whoa, thanks for the kill. That's a free stat line for you. All right. Boston, I can imagine they're going to run the same thing. Izzyaki maybe just amping out and then switching over to the brig, because it's looking pretty immortal right now for the Boston Uprising. Looking pretty clean. Yep, there's the speed. All good. We'll see how Spitfire can change things up here. Are they going to try and hold this first corner and then just repeatedly diving onto the back line? It's questions yet to be answered.
Yeah, Birdring over onto this Sombra as well. Heidi's going to have to be careful. As soon as he tries to go aggressive, I wouldn't be surprised to see Birdring sort of hacking him, isolating, just sort of causing problems all around. And they can play around the EMP as well if they get that to just close out the first point. They don't have that far to go in this map.
Early first push, like, we've already got the payload around the first corner. Nice sleep in a D-Mech. Not something you'd usually see against a Diva of Kalios' caliber. Man, it is crazy too. I think this happened last year, where it was Kalios' first time back in the league. He was in the Overwatch League on, the Boston Uprising, originally, way back when. Went down to Open Division, then to Trials, then to Contenders, now back in the league for his second year in a row. Man, this guy is just an absolute workhorse, just perfecting the craft.
He's a role player, right? He comes in, he has to play those off tanks, and he's playing it beautifully right now. Good pick by Sparker. That's 2 fights consistently back-to-back for the Spitfire, and the time can dwindle. They're currently making this defensive setup from the Uprising. As much as they're playing the Sombra and they can get that dive, because Kalios is playing Diva, it can be hard to play that, and the London Spitfire just not letting them out the doors.
Right, second time's a charm there.
I didn't see anything the first time. What are you talking about?
All good, no, nothing at all. Don't worry. EMP coming up, like you said. Birdring trying to get as much charge as he can, but no one's in his sights. Another nice eat by Kalios. Might not matter though, Izzyaki and Twilight dead. Those logs from Sparker, those arrows, hitting quite easily by the looks of it. Sparker's really turning up right now on the Hanzo.
Yeah.
Opening the fight up twice in a row.
And Sparker really is that superstar player for the London Spitfire. We saw it last year, and that's why there were some questions, right? Of like, why would you sub out Sparker in their last series? He's been a mainstay in this series so far for this reason. His Hanzo, his hit scan is just so flexible, has so much firepower. And you pair that with the coordination from the Spitfire, and that's a deadly combo.
EMP available for Birdring now. His first of the match so far. There will be a sleep and an anti onto Kalios. Can they clean up this mech? EMP's pretty large, hits 4, hits 3 even. Can they follow up? There's Decay with the pulse, gets 1. After that rally comes off from Landon now. There is a Dragon Strike to split the rest of the Boston Uprising. They're trying to make him work for these kills, and they're not making him work hard enough. Twilight, Izzyaki, a nano boost flung onto the brig to make sure Izzyaki stays alive. And Boston now pushing around that second corner. That was a nice EMP. Follow-up from Decay looked good. Even with Kalios down, they were like, that's more than okay. Like, we know London's gonna put pedal to the metal here after that EMP hit.
Yeah, and now we're getting into 1 minute remaining for Boston Uprising. This is the important fight for the Spitfire, and they have both ultimates to enable Hardy here. He's going to be able to go deep. Izzyaki does have the rally to match, though.
Yep, that nano boost and Primal Rage available. Landon hasn't got rally. He actually nanos the brig. Okay, so Primal's going off and nano brig in the front line. You see Hardy trying to boot people back in, but that rally from Izzyaki, look at the health bars on the Boston Uprising side. They're pretty much full. Sparker had to back out as he got antied, and now Skyripper's in trouble. A pulse spawn from Decay hits 2. Boston Uprising lost their back line and their front line. Decay calling the janitor, he cleaning up. That will be 4 kills for the Tracer. 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go. That golden box of victory in their sights just before that second point.
Disgusting from Decay. Absolute menace on this Tracer, taking over. A lot of people question, why is Striker not on the Tracer? That is exactly why. Decay is performing very well, but I didn't like that nano onto the brig. It felt like they weren't strong enough with the Winston or the brig. So some questionable choices by the Spitfire, but there is still a chance. As we said earlier, this is a very difficult fight to take and play aggressively because you're moving uphill. Spitfire teasing the window right now, might jump out of it.
And Kalios permanently boop, 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 matrix, so you can't get any shots down, you can't get any healing down. EMP available, yep, from Birdring. He do be chilling out right now on the sidelines. Hardy trying to maybe get someone, get a little poke in to reveal him, but Birdring's not really worried about that anymore. An EMP after the hack. Hardy had absolutely no chance of surviving. The Boston Uprising with another quite a clean map. 2-1 of the series, match point as well. Those substitutions coming in, working out perfectly. Boston Uprising coming to a map with a game plan, they stick to it, and it works out.
Yeah, and London, as I said in the last map on Hollywood, we see it again, just outmatched in this composition. But if you want to get some copium, the next 2 maps, it's going to be push, it's going to be control again. Maps where London Spitfire can feel more at home, but this is the man that they have to try and shut down.
Yeah.
Decay on this Tracer is just running rings around them.
Yeah, it's really rough. I mean, Lethal really started it up on Antarctic Peninsula. Those pulse bombs made Izyaki's life miserable. But did he get his shield broken? He did. Wow, that sucks. That really sucks.
Wow,
that's rough.
As a support player, it's
yeah,
like,
right.
damn.
You got your shield up. You're like, okay, I'm going to survive the bomb, and you just see the health ticking down. You're like, no. Trying to time it as perfectly as you can. But yeah, there you go. Decay on the Tracer. The Tracers for both teams right now kind of showing up. Lethal, a little bit of a quieter one as Kalios has been just a point guard, basically, just making sure he can't get any value. And the backline too. Looking pretty clean for the Boston Uprising. 3-1 in their sights. London want to take it to a map 5. They need to take Esperanza. We're going to jump to a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a second. Welcome back. Boston Uprising making some changes going into the next map after what was quite a dominant performance. We do have Mr. Lee Jae-gon back in, and we also have Smurf. So original lineup as they started the map with, and Boston Uprising, like, do they need some changes? I mean, sure, because they're looking rather clean on every single comp right now.
They've looked quite clean with both sets of players, with Kalios, with Twilight coming in. On the other hand, the London Spitfire going back to the power of friendship with Backbone and Admiral returning to the lineup. And this is sort of what I was hoping for and expecting going into this one, because it's really where they are at their best. It is their signature style to play as a unit rather than that Winston, Brig, Ana style. As much as they have great players and it's quite good, it's not as good as Boston. Decay didn't die last map. Zero donut. They need to find another way to deal with it.
Mad. Backbone and the boys, the gang, yeah, they want to play that style, just like run and gun, just like get up in your faces, right? We know Backbone is super clean when it comes to things like May, and Esperanza is a map you can play right. You can play a lot of these like brawlier heroes. Even JQ, you could still play JQ here. You can play JQ with a May too to help JQ close the distance on teams, close the distance on tanks. So we'll see what they want to run as we get into this map. But right now, the Boston Uprising, like you said, they are looking nasty with it.
Yeah, and if you are the London Spitfire, you have to go back to what worked. The Junker Queen on Hardy was obviously making Smurf's life hell. He needs to go back to that style, and as much as it's maybe not ideal, I think the Los Angeles Gladiators proved in the Pro-Am that sometimes just playing what you're comfortable and what you're good at is better than trying to match them in what you think the meta is.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really feel like there's a meta solidified right now. Like, maybe you could say this kind of monkey initiator, like with the Ana and then a Brig or a Lucio in the backline, but then teams are just like, lads, like, you can play Ram, you can play the JQ. There's no solidified meta, which is what's great about the opening week of the Overwatch League, right? And I hope this kind of continues where it's really about playing your strengths. It will get boiled down. I know it will get boiled down, but right now what we're seeing is great because London can play these styles of play that fits their compositions, fits their team very well. Brine, JQ, etc. But the Boston, they are going toe-to-toe with them. Lethal just completely erased from the map. It was tough for him to do anything, and compared to what Decay did on that map, it's not great.
Decay Tracer has been a thing of legends for such a long time, and you know he's a guy who they said he's kind of like the leader of this team. He's bringing the confidence, and with performances like these, he's leading by example. An 80% pulse bomb attach rate with 0 deaths,
with 5 pulse bomb kills too.
16 final blows.
Yeah.
That's hard to deal with no matter what composition that you're playing. So we need to see potentially a matching or just go against it, play things that the Tracer is not going to be as effective against.
What kind of comp do you expect London to run then?
I think you need to play faster. And that's sort of what they did in the first map is, you know, what was happening is Decay wasn't getting the opportunity to run around the map, get onto the backline. By the time he tried to do anything, someone was dead. If they play that clumped together style, Decay won't have those opportunities to just run around them and sort of take them apart one by one.
And you're seeing the highlights right here. I mean, yeah, okay, that was a finish-off kill. That was Smurf's score, let's be real ourselves here. But the amount of pressure that he puts on, here you go. He was their EMP on first. Stick onto the Ana, easy peasy. And then because the backline is playing so close together, you get situations like this. Blink, stick, and double kill.
That pulse bomb onto Sky Ripper with that EMP, if he doesn't land that, that could have been a first point hold. It could have looked very differently because that EMP wouldn't have found value. They wouldn't have had, you know, the rally would have been coming through. They would have had that overhealth, and then potentially they're able to play that aggressive style and win it. So Decay coming up with clutch plays. It's going to be interesting, though. We're going on to Esperanza real soon. It's a very different map, very open. We know that the Lucio can be a better look for them, but with Lee Jae-gon coming in as well, you know, maybe the Boston Uprising will change things up.
Yeah, we'll see. Lee Jae-gon, Lucio, maybe?
I don't think I've ever seen him play Lucio.
No, never. Surely never. Never in history. Let's have a look. But with Backbone in, you're like, okay, well, maybe a little silliness. Maybe a little silliness. May. It's not really that silly for London, to be fair. The silly heroes. I think we've seen a lot of silly heroes compared to like every other season. Torb we've seen a fair bit of, which is great. Bastion, of course. May. There's been a little bit sim here and there too. Like I said, the meta's like super open. It feels really good to see a lot of things being played. But Esperanza is definitely a map in the map pool, that's for sure.
Thanks, Jack.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm going somewhere with it. The high ground is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
If you win that first fight, you overlook the first point, that first checkpoint.
Yeah.
It's just such an unbelievably hard recontest for the team that lost that first fight. And if you put your support on the high ground, you're having to go either around with a speed boost or leap up to the height. Like, it's really tough. So this first fight is critical to success on this map.
And Backbone's coming out on the Sombra, a pick that I think he struggled with in their first match against the Washington Justice. It didn't feel like he was able to find EMP value. He was getting picked a lot. So they're confident in their style, but they're going to play this Sombra Reaper, which means they're upping the tempo, especially with Landon on this Kiriko. They are going to play this six-man style who's just going to try and get onto Izayaki. And you can see he's scared for his life. He's already backing up.
Yeah, he Smurf too. Hacked, leapt away. Huddy is on the wrong side of the map right now, but it shouldn't be too much time before Admiral and Land and everybody else do get back on top of him. Another hack onto Lee Jae Gon. Birdring's POV on the Sojourn. Quite easy to farm off the Winston, quite a large head hitbox, so you're going to get those railguns quite often. You don't get as much charge when you do hit the bubble, but there is a railgun shot. Even a body shot can be a go sign for the team. He's got 100 charge right now, a leap up into the skies. He's got Admiral in his sights. Admiral is so low, and Lee Jae Gon just finishes him off with a boot.
Yeah, and London Spitfire just never really finding their opportunity to go. They're playing the Reaper, so they need to. They were getting some good hacks.
Ooh, Lee Jae Gon,
Sparker
okay.
Gets a couple on the way out, but that's going to be first fight going to the Boston Uprising. And the Sojourn's an interesting pick here from Birdring because, as you said, the charge doesn't go up as much. They've nerfed it so that it's not a one-shot as much. It does like 190 damage now with a full charge. So the follow-up does need to be there for the Boston Uprising, but we know that's what they've been doing so well so far in this series.
Oh yeah. High ground control. Imperative, like I said, but the bot didn't really push that far, so going under the bridge, that's where you really want to take a height if your supports, if it's in this position. Not so much. Sparker forced to raid. Decay with a pulse bomb in hands already. Look at everybody lighting up from Suzu's got time too. Easy pulse. No, ends up hitting the wall. Boston Uprising are going to send out that beat, but Izayaki didn't receive that overshield. And now going down. Hardy with the Primal Rage. A perfect isolation kill onto the main healer of the Boston Uprising. And that should be London's fight to win. They're just going to chase the remaining stragglers out.
Yeah, that Kitsune rush is just so much speed, just so much damage, and it's just too much for the Boston Uprising to deal with. And as you said, Jack, unable to keep Izayaki alive with the sound barrier not going onto him. Now we have the EMP, the Death Blossom, the Primal Rage for London Spitfire. It's very difficult to deal with, especially now they don't have that sound barrier. Birdring, though, we've known him. He's shut down hopes and dreams in the past. He has that overclock. It's such a high quality ultimate because you can just change the fight without anyone being able to do it.
EMP hits two, Birdring and Lee Jae Gon, and the Death Blossom on top. Yeah, EMP and a Blossom. Yeah, he's not surviving that, unfortunately.
Oh, Primal Rage.
Okay, Smurf. I mean, they have killed Landon. Not a crazy amount of healing left, but you are still dueling in the neutral versus a Sombra, so very hard fight to win. Smurf pops the Primal and just uses it to escape.
Yeah, no, that was a great shutdown on Birdring. Great follow-up with that EMP. You couldn't have asked for anything better. Lee Jae Gon is going to switch over to the Brig, recognizing that they just need more sustainability, and they're not utilizing the speed boost. They're just trying to anchor and hold down the fort.
Lantern. I mean, Admiral, sorry. Dance with death there a little bit. And Decay's already dead. Wow. Okay. Are they going to be able to make something of this? I mean, they've got that overclock still, Scott, but I think that's about it. And Hardy with the Primal Rage, if Birdring goes for any aggressive push, he can just pop Primal
in his face
and just poop him away, pretty much.
Yeah, just Birdring not able to find anything with that one. Hardy holding on to this Primal. Doesn't get it off, though. A pretty dire mistake, and that's probably going to, you know, spread. Yeah, the London Spitfire just have nowhere to go. That's a great anti-nade from Izayaki as well.
That was crazy. And then Lee Jae Gon just soul winging on through. That was an anti-nade with a disruptor shot on top too, so that's a lot of ticking damage. Oh, Birdring now on the Sombra instead, so no
like
more Soj. Going on to Sombra.
I think the Sombra is just a more consistent pick, and you can get these hacks, you can isolate players So, you know, we saw the Sojin has that high skill ceiling, but if you can't shoot anything because there's a Winston constantly in your face, you just can't do anything with that. Sparker does get anti, but manages to hold on to that Wraith form, but they want to keep the advantage.
Look at this pressure onto Backbone right now. Decay just firing shots straight at him. Suzu's already been used. There you go, Decay. Didn't want to mess with the kunais. Kunai a body shot with a kill him. EMP hits forward, and that will be a dead Izayaki. Lee Gon, look at that. He's hitting that rally, but no one's getting that overhealth at all because there's too much damage being flung out by Spitfire. Yet again, Landon's rush just saving the day.
Yeah, EMP, Kitsune rush, just too much to deal with. Lee Gon goes, you know what, actually, I'm not a fan of that Brig. I'm going to go back to my Lucio. Never mind, I'm going to go back to Brig. Okay, Lee Gon's just trolling me.
Baited.
But that should be the checkpoint coming out for it. The Boston Uprising kind of look like they want to contest this. They don't want to give this one away.
No, yeah. Decay double, triple blinks in, hits the recall, gives Smurf enough time to get back. EMP for Birdring.
Almost.
Nano onto Smurf. He's in the front line, so he's not going to die. He's repeatedly getting hacked. But there's the leap in and the Primal Rage. Hardy's going to do the same thing here to try and push the rest of Boston Uprising away, but Admiral piles on that pressure with that beat, but the EMP from Birdring is just too good.
Just such good macro play there from the Boston Uprising. First of all, able to stop that checkpoint from going through. Decay just sort of dancing around the bot, and then Smurf takes over, gets the nano, then uses the Primal Rage, just giving their team time for Birdring to get that EMP up and for that to be the nail in the coffin for the London Spitfire. London still does have that advantage, but neither team has pushed it very far so far in this map, Jack.
Yeah, no checkpoints unlocked for either team. These comps are very quick, so you just kind of imagine that would be the case. Oh, there's the shadow step onto the high ground. Smurf got hacked again. Dude. He's lost control of his password manager at this rate. There's... Dude is perma-hacked. London Spitfire take control of the bot once more. Birdring in the back, trying to set up for a hack and a dive. There's the pulse, went somewhere. Didn't get kills, but he got the kill onto Landon at least. We'll say it was a space creating one. Wraithform already used it. Look at this. Boston Uprising surgically taking care of the London Spitfire. Like, again, this is Birdring setting up the back and Decay, always at an off angle. There's 3 different angles Boston Uprising are injecting themselves in the fight.
And I was really curious why Uprising were just giving them so much space. They conceded the high ground, went to their high ground, but they're almost laying a trap, waiting for the Spitfire to bait into it. Now it's the Spitfire's turn. Are they going to be able to stop this checkpoint from coming through? No.
Wow. Yeah, butt scratch mode initiated there. Checkpoint unlocked for the Boston Uprising. So close for London to getting back to that. Then Boston Uprising, they just back off. They know there's a lot of time, a downtime when that robot does hit the checkpoint.
Ooh, good sleep.
Nice sleep in midair. Smurf doesn't even wake up either. Actually plumps himself on the high ground. All good. Nano boost, drop it down on the rest of the team. Looks too easy right now for the Boston Uprising. These plays paint themselves. Smurf, without getting shoved away, oh my damage, but oh my healing. And a nice little nade on top of Smurf, keeping him alive. They even use the rush inside to try and stop Smurf getting away with murder, but murder he does get away with. Boston Uprising, they're going to take control of this fight, push that bot some more, and this will be after checkpoint progress now, so London really on the back foot with 2 minutes to go.
Backbone just wasn't able to find a good EMP. He couldn't get onto that high ground, couldn't shut them down. So he ends up solo EMPing Smurf, but then the nano boost from Izayaki right on time saves his life. That's a great team fight, and now they're just ticking further and further up. With only 2 minutes remaining, London Spitfire needs to start finding value, but the Death Blossom is such a difficult ultimate to get value from. Like, they're trying to find windows, but look at how far back the backline of Boston Uprising are playing.
Yeah, Decay looking for a way to get a pulse bomb onto the backline. Super low, though. He's taking mad risks with these blinks, I will say. Translocator from Birdring just on the other side of the wall is going to get healed up, but Decay's dead. EMP's good, hits 3. Admiral with a sound barrier, though. Does manage to get it off in time. Doesn't get killed off mid-sound barrier. It's all good for the London Spitfire. Winning this fight is going to be pretty key to get the bot in your control, but with 1 minute and 20 seconds to go, you're looking at 2 fight wins minimum to get that bot further than Uprising right now.
Yeah, and Decay going down, Birdring deciding they could still turn that one around, and they just could not get it. Sparker still holding on to this Death Blossom, just waiting for it. But you can see Admiral's the target. He does get hacked, but does manage to get away. But London Spitfire falling back with the tail behind the legs. Lee Gon gets caught up by Backbone.
Yeah, Izayaki and Lee Gon completely away from their team. Decay with a pulse, hits the ground, the EMP. Oh, Backbone, that was a good one. Birdring and Smurf hacked, and they're instantly killed. With 40 seconds to go, there's an important team fight here for London Spitfire to win, but the Boston Uprising forcing an ultimate for London to win is perfect for them. No more EMP to worry about.
Yeah, getting that EMP out, you're more than happy to take that fight, lose that EMP, and then go on to the next one. They have the Nano Boost and they have the Primal Rage.
The Rush and the Death Blossom, a mighty clean combo if you can get it off. But with Smurf's Primal Rage, you can sustain through that damage even with the Nano trying to boot him away from the rest of the team. Bot rounding that final corner for the London Spitfire to cross that golden line of victory. And look how far Izzyaki is playing back right now. And in fact, there's not many people on his screen. London just kind of scared, trying to bait Boston Uprising in. They know this is their last fight. They don't need to do anything, you're right.
They're just going to sit there, waiting for the London Spitfire to get into the wrong position.
There's the rush. Oh, Decay with a hit. Where does Decay go? Smurf with the Primal Rage. He's going to boot Landon away, but he TPs straight back in. There'll be London Spitfire moving up with a Death Blossom, and Smurf just taking too much damage. Boom, 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 boom. Sparker just erasing him from the map. And with Smurf dead, who's going to touch for Boston Uprising? Decay's going to come back in just a minute, Scott, but Legion Gon had to get Nano to stay alive on the point. The IMAX deployed. A double stun. Death Blossom comes out, but Legion Gon is still alive. The EMP is going to be good for Birdring, and the Boston Uprising somehow win that fight. A 3-1 victory, and Lee J. Gon, surprised as we are that he stayed alive there. Boston Uprising, my God, the tenacity.
I thought it was over. I was already getting ready for map 5, but Lee J. Gon believed in it. The back line of the Boston Uprising coming in clutch at the last second to close out this series. They don't want to go to a map 5.
Oh my God. What an absolute warlord in the front line. With Smurf dying, you're like, who's going to touch? And then he's just Lee J. Gon, the last hero of Gondor, in the corner, holding his shield, nanoed, hits the rally, and then just flailing people away.
When we knew that the Brig was getting the IMAX shield and this 100 armor, everyone was like, oh, we're overreacting. It's not going to be that bad.
Show them that footage right there with the Nano, and he's just whom, whum, whum, just swinging, healing himself. Izzyaki was chilling. It gave enough time for not only Smurf to come back, to Decay as well. And then Birdring hit an ICMP. Boston Uprising with a 3-1. That looked like it was going to go to a map 5. London had a very good chance of coming back there.
Yeah, London really looking a lot more comfortable. They were going back and forth, but it was the man of the hour who's getting our player of the match. Yeah. Decay was just insane this entire series. He is him on this Tracer, and he found so much value in places that just opened the door for Boston that made it almost look easy.
Yeah, I mean, not dying on Shambali Monastery either. I mean, his Tracer play is just exquisite. I think you mentioned it before, actually, Scott, with Striker, right? You're like, whoa, why is Striker not in to play Tracer? Well, this is why. They have a lot of Tracer players, okay? Decay can come in, Strike can come in when he needs to as well. Birdring can also play the Tracer. They got a lot of talent on their roster, and I'll keep harping on it until I'm cut from the Overwatch League roster. No, it's been good to have Decay play for a team that he looks extremely comfortable on in as well. This Tracer play looking sublime, but I think after that first map, they reset themselves almost, and were like, okay, we know how we want to play. This is the game plan. We're going to go in. And Decay's stats kind of speak for themselves.
Hey, we've seen this consistently from the best Tracer players in the world. Just such low deaths. Only 2 deaths per 10 minutes while still putting out 9.2 final blows. That's so hard to deal with. And he's sticking 50% of those pulse bombs.
Yeah.
Some of them
wicked,
very impactful, very meaningful plays. Decay has just been so good, and we have to start questioning, was the Boston Uprising crumbling start to be a little bit of smoke? Maybe it wasn't true.
Dude, they've been putting out some fire on the timeline is all I'm saying. They're swinging and they ain't missing, that's for sure. Decay, I think, well, you saw the stats just a second ago. Per 10, he's hitting 1.8 pulse bombs. Like, dude, the guy's just a menace. And it was hard for London Spitfire to really come back. Lethal had his time in the sun, especially on the first map. But Decay then just... yeah, he just took over the game.
Too good.
That was about it, really. I mean, our next match is also going to be a heater. That is for sure. That is coming up after this break. Do not go anywhere. We'll see you in a bit.
Loving Hardy, loving Smurf. Want to be just like them when you grow up? Well, check out our new tank bundles. It's got Ramatra, it's got Doomfist and Sigma, plus a weapon charm with your favorite team colors. You can grab this until May 9th for only 350 league tokens. That's a good deal.
Yeah.
I love a good deal.
Can I borrow 50 tokens from you?
Sure. I don't think that's how tokens work. But yeah, sharing is caring, and that's why we're all here. We're going to share our knowledge with all of you watching.
Because we care.
Because we care. We deeply care. We do indeed. And Danny, I know you care a lot about the London Spitfire. You were worried heading into this season. First look wasn't as convincing, not as inspiring. But honestly, they fought back in this match.
They did. I mean, I think it was a loss, but it was a quality loss. And I think I was pretty happy with this overall result from this match because going in, I did say, like, I wanted to see more from the London Spitfire. And I think we got just that. You know, it was a loss on the London Spitfire side. And I don't think any of us really expected London to win, right? But I mean, there were certain players that really showed up. I think Lethal was a player that recently just joined the London Spitfire. I think he definitely held his own. But for this match, you know, when things started rolling for the Boston Uprising, it was just, it was a nightmare for London Spitfire, I think. Boston, when they are looking unstoppable, they're too scary, right? And Decay, I think, had a really, really good game. He definitely got Riz.
Is that how to use
Oh
the
boy,
word?
guys! For all my Zoomers in the chat, I'm trying to do some new language education.
Yeah.
It's not going too hot. It's not going too hot, but we're
work
working
in
on.
progress.
We'll
You're
workshop
learning
it.
that.
We'll
You're
workshop
learning,
it.
Boston, Riz up.
That is their hashtag.
That is
It is their hashtag.
And we finally understand what it means.
Yeah, I had to educate them.
yeah,
They're like,
I thought
what
it's
is
a
this?
typo. I gotta be real with you. Anyway, you did hit on Lethal as well as DK here. So, Jonathan, heading into this match, you wanted to keep your eyes on DK. How did Lethal stack up to him?
Pretty all right, actually. Yeah, I mean, this was the matchup to keep an eye out. So we actually have a beautiful stat card up here to take a look at some of their stats. So stop doing that with your hands. It's
fine.
But this was the standout duel, and it was really a story of two tales. If we take a look at the stats, we see the solo kills. Lethal, way more solo kills than Decay, actually. 0.9 compared to Decay 0.4. Also, if we take a look at the pulse bomb kills, Decay actually caught up in 2 deaths per 10 minutes. 2 deaths per 10 minutes? That's absurd. But it was really a story of two tales, because when this game started, Lethal was actually pulling ahead. And that was the narrative in the first couple of matches, really. Lethal, with his pulse bomb kills, managed to have a large amount of impact. We can see here, picking off Isayaki here, when the percentages are really getting close on the third round here. Also on Hollywood, I think that Lethal had a stand-up performance once again here. Solo kills, getting it done with the pulse bomb. So a great job by Lethal. But as this match really progressed, that's when Decay started taking over, especially here, 16-0 on the third map in this series. That is the kind of star performance that you want to see from Decay. That's the kind of performance that I requested from Decay now as he is part of this Boston Uprising roster, and a double pulse bomb kill right there. I mean, this is the kind of stuff you want to see if you're a Boston Uprising fan, and this is what they need from Decay. Moving forward, not only helping Smurf out with the tank kills, getting it done with his tank, but getting those solo kills, getting the post-bomb kills done. That is what DK need to provide this team with for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and I mean, DK is in luck there, obviously, having a DPS duo partner such as Birdring. With all those star powers on that roster, you are set up to succeed. So if you don't, it's even more glaring. And now we do have Birdring standing by for a winner's interview with Danny.
All right, thank you, Zoe. Let's see if Birdring could hear me. Birdring, hello, can you hear me? Birdring 선수, 피곤하신가요? 안녕하세요. 들리시나요?
안녕하세요.
안녕하세요. All right, he says hello. All right, let's just.
들립니다.
Yeah, he says he could actually hear me very well. So Birdring, I mean, this was a 3-1 victory for the Boston Uprising. I want to start this interview off by just asking you, how'd you guys get it done? 자, 오늘 첫 번째 경기 3대1로 보스턴이 승리를 하셨습니다. 이 승리 좀 어떻게 거두시게 되신 것 같으신가요?
사실 제가 기대했던 만큼 뭐 만족스러운 경기력은 아니었긴 했는데 일단 좀 잘 견뎌내서 이겨서 그냥 2승 이번에 거둬가지고 좀 기분 좋게 스타트하는 것 같습니다.
All right, I mean, to be very honest, I think it wasn't a very satisfying victory on our end, but I mean, it is at the end of the day still a victory, so it does feel good. I think how we got it done, we just kept pushing it, pushing it all the way through, and we did get the win. I just feel really good to sort of end the week with a 2-0 record for the Boston Uprising. Now, Birdring also, I mean, I think throughout this match, you played a lot of different heroes. You played, I think I saw a little bit of Ashe, Hanzo, Sojourn as well. I just want to hear from you, what is your, I guess, best hero currently right now, and why? 자, 두 번째 질문으로는 오늘 버드링 선수가 좀 굉장히 많은 영웅들을 이렇게 선보이신 것 같아요. 제가 기억하는 것만으로도 뭐 애쉬도 있었고, 한조, 또 소정까지 있었는데, 지금 현 상황에서, 지금 이제 플레이하는 지금 이 기간 동안, 제일 잘하는, 제일 자신이 있는 영웅이 있다면 좀 어떤 영웅일까요? 그리고 이유 하나 부탁드리겠습니다.
그나마 그래도 히트 스캔인 애쉬 이런 게 좀 자신이 있었고 나머지는 이제 고루고루 요새 하다 보니까 조금 이제 폼이 올라오고 있는 정도인 것 같아요. 그나마 이제 애쉬가 제일 자신 있습니다.
Alright, I will definitely have to pick Ashe because I mean it is a hit scan hero, and I am very confident in my Ashe, I guess, gameplay. Other than that, I think I'm playing a lot of different heroes in the Boston Uprising team, so I think I'm gradually getting better. But for confidence-wise, I think I want to say Ashe is sort of my best hero currently. All right, Birdring, that is it for the interview. Thank you so much for your time, and again, big congratulations on the win. 자, 승리 축하드리면서 보내드리도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
감사합니다.
He's on his way out already. It's like, I'm done. I'm gonna go celebrate. celebrate. Congratulations to the Boston Uprising, of course. That's a great entry into the 2023 season with a 2-0 record. London Spitfire, however, did show up in the end there. We see sign of lives. That bodes well for the rest of the season. So excited to see the boys in blue again. Now, of course, that was always a treat hearing from Birdring. And speaking of treats, we got another one for you, and that is our Zarya bundle. You too can ascend to the greatest of heights with the Zarya Rock Climber skin. That's right, check it out. It's got the legendary skin, of course, as well as a legendary voice line, the Rock Climber voice line. It's got all the good stuff you want. So that and more can be yours. It's on sale right now until May the 9th for 300 League tokens. Now, shifting gears to our last match of the day, which is the one that we hailed to be the title match. This is the one we're really excited. This is the litmus test for both of those teams. Both of them want to end this week strong. They do want that victory on the board because we know both teams have what it takes to be a top contender. But we have to take a look at these rosters, right? Starting with the Toronto Defiant